नमस्ते, मैं हूँ अलीशा फर्नांडिस और आप देख रहे हैं राष्ट्र टीवी। आज के खास एपिसोड ऑफ दिल से फिट में आज का टॉपिक है मेनोपॉज। इस पर और जानकारी पाने के लिए हमारे साथ जुड़ गए हैं आज के एक्सपर्ट डॉक्टर केदार। डॉक्टर केदार, आपका स्वागत है राष्ट्र टीवी पे।
थैंक यू सो मच।
डॉक्टर, सबसे पहले there is a notion about many different conceptions and many different ideas about what exactly is menopause. So in the simplest form, if you could just narrate to our viewers what exactly is menopause.
Menopause is something which happens to every lady who starts menstruation. The menstruation generally starts anywhere between 10 to 14 years, and this is dependent on the egg content or the oocyte contents in the ovaries of the lady. The idea of the human body biologically is meant to reproduce, and therefore the body persistently and on a monthly level produces oocytes or the so-called eggs. So this happens under the influence of the pituitary gland.
Okay.
The pituitary gland produces FSH or follicle stimulating hormone in the first half of the period.
Okay.
This helps the egg to grow from say 4 to 5 to about 20 to 22 mm. When the egg is big enough, the pituitary gland sends an hormone called LH or luteinizing hormone. This allows the egg to rupture. And then this hormones, estrogen and progesterone, which come from the ovary, sustain the egg for 14 days after that. If there is no pregnancy, the person will menstruate.
Yes.
This is the normal cycle. So if you understand that when the estrogen and progesterone go down at the end of the month, the pituitary gland has a positive effect and it starts producing FSH.
Okay.
The FSH goes to the ovary and produces estrogen. Then when the egg is big, LH comes, and after the rupture, progesterone comes. When the estrogen and progesterone are high, the FSH and LH get a negative feedback in the pituitary. They become low.
Okay.
And once the FSH and LH are very low, and if there is no pregnancy, estrogen and progesterone also get over. And then the person gets periods. When the person gets period, the FSH, LH, estrogen and progesterone are all low. Now there is no negative feedback of estrogen and progesterone to the pituitary. It starts spurting out FSH to produce a new egg. And this is how the cycle is produced in a circadian rhythm. Now when eggs get over, when the person comes to menopausal stage, that may happen at around 45, 50, even 55 years, there are no eggs left in the ovary. The ovary is not producing estrogen and progesterone anymore. This is not known to the pituitary gland.
Okay.
Therefore, the pituitary starts producing large quantities of FSH and LH, hoping that the ovary will produce an egg.
Correct.
So, during the menopause stage, which is when the FSH and LH is very high and estrogen and progesterone is very low, the hormonal changes cause not only hormonal changes in the reproductive tract, they cause changes in the brain, in the whole body, and of course in the ovaries, and the periods stop because there is no estrogen and progesterone.
Absolutely.
And so this is the onset of menopause.
Okay, so is there any early signs or symptoms which can detect that you are heading towards menopause or you are going to experience menopause in few days from now?
What happens, therefore, I will take the physiology further.
Yes.
Imagine the situation in which FSH and LH, which were being produced in blood levels numbers, FSH in the range of 5 to 15, and at the time of peak ovulation up to 40 milliIU per ml from the pituitary gland, and LH, which is generally in the range of 0 to 4 to 5, except at the time of ovulation, it increases. Now it is persistently high. So this FSH and LH, which is coming from the pituitary gland, is disturbing the hypothalamo-pituitary ovarian axis, which is there in the brain. Next to these centers is the temperature control center. See, when a person gets fever and the body temperature is very high, how does the body bring it down? It brings it down by sweating.
Correct.
And then there is loss of heat from the body and the temperature comes down. The cooling effect is there.
Absolutely.
So this is the temperature control center. The temperature control center in the brain is disturbed by the increase in FSH and LH. So what happens is the sudden spurt in FSH and LH also results in a feverish feeling and sweating.
Okay.
So you must have heard of what are called as hot flashes. These hot flashes can be very, very disturbing.
Very.
The person may be sitting in an AC room and sweating and feeling hot because of these changes. And the person may be right out in the sun and feeling suddenly very cold. So these cold and hot changes which are occurring in the body are called hot flashes, and they can be very disturbing.
Absolutely.
So this is one of the symptoms which will happen.
Okay, so also there are now these are your physical symptoms. So also we have discussed with a lot of ladies, and they have told us that they get usually mood swings. They become very you could say they're very चिड़चिड़ापन हो जाता है, in which they get very uneasy type of a feeling. So these are all signs of menopause as well.
Pretty much. So when estrogen and progesterone come, they also act on the various electrolytes in our body.
Okay.
The main electrolytes you must have heard of are sodium, potassium, and chlorides.
Correct.
For all the activities that we do, like I'm doing this action of moving my hand, my brain has to send a signal to the muscles.
Absolutely.
And the brain produces what is called as action potential. This action potential is produced by the sodium going into the cell and potassium coming out, thereby sending a current to my muscles. During that time, calcium goes into my muscle and the muscle contracts.
Correct.
And all this happens in a fraction of a second. Now imagine a situation in which the sodium levels have gone bonkers around the cells or in the brain. Sodium can enter very easily into the cell, which is making you think rationally. Now there is a spike, an action potential where it is not expected. The lady starts responding differently. So for instance, if the husband is used to keeping the pen on the table near the ink pot, but now he has not put it in a place, whereas he has put it near his breakfast dish. In a normal, happy, healthy morning, woman
She
would
would
take
pick
that
it up,
pen and put
keep
it
it
back
back,
into the
yeah.
ink pot. But when you are irritated, she'll fire. She's saying, "What the hell you're doing? Is this the way to do it?" You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
These are subtle ways in which the body reacts differently. This is not the only way. I mean, this is a simple example that I've given. How the body reacts to a different situation. There are various circumstances at home. There are teenage girls and boys who are leaving the home. There is
Absolutely.
emptiness syndrome happening. It can send the psyche of the lady into a turmoil. So these are the psychological symptoms which are happening in her system.
So, like you mentioned over here, now there are certain conditions as well. Like, for example, if any lady has a BP problem or heart-related problem, is there any specific way in which it gets affected with menopause?
So menopause directly does not affect the blood pressure and the
And
or
also
maybe
thyroid for
diabetes.
that matter.
Yes, but since these variations are happening and since the estrogen and progesterone are going down from the body, see, estrogen is a very positive hormone in the life of the lady.
Correct.
It keeps up her psyche, it keeps her moods, it keeps her bones strong, it prevents osteoporosis, it keeps cholesterol levels low, it keeps up her psyche, she wants to do work, her sexuality, her body form. These are things which are dependent on estrogens. Now imagine that estrogen levels have gone down. She is irritable, her bone density is becoming less, her muscle mass is becoming less. What she could do earlier, she is not able to do.
Correct.
It produces a lot of irritation. This secondarily will affect her conditions which are diabetes, high blood pressure, thyroid, and even other
Okay.
systems.
Indirect effect it has.
generally.
And what you would suggest about the lifestyle that are being led today, like the unhealthy lifestyle, the outdoor junk food, or for that matter, even you have your stressful lifestyle, if I can put it that way, in a much simpler tone. So does that also contribute in early menopause, or it just doesn't aggravate the situation?
I'm sure it does,
Okay.
and especially if you're used to junk food and or bad habits like sleeping late, a lot of time on the cell phone or television or iPads or whatever you want to call it. It has a disturbing pattern in the lives of everyone. Now imagine a situation in which the lady is going through a turmoil of hormonal imbalance. She's in the perimenopausal phase, and add to that she's eating junk food. Her muscles are not using up as many calories as possible. She's going to start putting on weight, feel bloated,
Correct.
which adds to the irritability. Her metabolism changes, so then it worsens her diabetes, high blood pressure, thyroid hormones, and many other conditions.
Okay, so it somehow leads to that
True.
in the long run. Okay. So, doctor, like for example, now this is a very dramatic stage in any women's life. So, what are the ways in which the family should understand the women? What would you suggest?
Before we go to that, we must also understand a few other situations
Yes, please.
which take the lady through different situations in her life. Once she's in a menopausal state and her psychology is not very well stable, her response to the surroundings becomes problematic, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
So if there are teenage children at home and or married son with a wife, the family atmosphere gets charged up.
Correct.
Your reactions are different. It throws things out of system. If you're working, you're going to office, bank, or a hospital, or
Will
wherever
create
you're working.
chaos.
Your state of mind is not so great. Small things will tick you off.
Absolutely.
Repercussions are not understanding that you are menopausal. It's not you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
So let us say that we call that person Anuradha, and that person is otherwise very cordial, but now she's not. The person who is reacting to her is not understanding her hormonal situation. They're responding to Anuradha. Whereas it's not Anuradha who is actually creating the problem, it's her hormones, her disturbances.
Correct.
Okay. Then in this situation, it is important, especially with the family. It's very difficult to tell the society or the place of work what to do, but it's definitely possible to counsel the husband
Yes.
and, of course, the family that she's going through a phase which has to be tackled as a collective family problem and not let her fend for it. When we understand that the person, it's not her, it's the changes, there's an empathetic approach, not even sympathetic. And then we do everything to make sure that she becomes comfortable.
Correct.
I wish that was true everywhere, but it doesn't happen. And so we intervene with therapeutic measures.
Okay. So now, doctor, like you mentioned that, the entire family should be very much empathetic towards the situation. Do you think awareness is enough for this particular phase of women? And does it happen also in men? We're speaking only about women right now. So, but does it happen in men? The effects of this,
Thankfully, not
menopause?
so much. Imagine a menopausal man at 40 to 50, the society would be in a serious chaos.
Absolutely. But they get an effect of this menopause which is happening in their wives.
Yes. And hormonal depletion also happens in men in any case,
yes.
but maybe at a later
Okay.
age. Yes, it does. For instance, her sexuality will get affected.
Correct.
Since the estrogen progesterone are low, her libido is low.
Correct.
She may not want to indulge in sexual activity at that particular point of time, and especially if it sets in early, like 35, 40.
Okay.
And she and her husband are very intimate, and now she does not want to get involved into a sexual activity because she's not feeling like it. It becomes a complex situation. In this part, actually, the couple should be counseled.
Okay.
And once counseled, and if proper hormone replacement is given, she does become very sexually active, cooperative, and the two can manage a very beautiful life.
Okay. Doctor, we are heading now to another important segment, which is myths versus facts. So there are a couple of myths which we have come across, and we would want you to tell us whether it's a myth or a fact. Okay, our first myth is, or a fact which you need to tell us is, menopause सिर्फ ज़्यादा एज वाली women को affect करता है.
Most of the times, menopause age in India is in the range of 43 to 50. It can come up earlier, maybe 40.
Okay.
If it happens before that, then we call it POF or premature ovarian failure.
Okay.
We have seen women menstruating right up to the age of 55 and comfortably so. So that is the extreme other limit.
Okay.
So this is what the age factor is about menopause.
Okay. So our next thing is, menopause के बाद weight gain होना fix है.
Yeah. So like I told you, the estrogen progesterone not there, and she doesn't want to get into too much of activity. The metabolism has slowed down, but the eating calories are the same. She tends to put on weight. So if there is awareness, then with age and with menopause, you need to control your diet.
Okay.
Also, if you add a little bit of exercise. Like brisk walk, a light gym, light weights, okay, yoga, whatever you would like to do, swim, or indulge in a game, Zumba, dance, increase the physical activity.
And that would
The
help.
peripheral adipose tissue tends to produce adequate estrogen to tide over the crisis which she is going through. She will burn the calories, and therefore she will not
Feel
put
better
on
also.
weight. She will feel better also. And of course, diet restrictions should come up. With age, what you were eating at the age of 35, you start eating at 90, your body is not going to take it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Our next statement is, menopause के बाद bone health और calcium की tension लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती.
Yeah. In fact, it is the other way around.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, menopause के बाद calcium depletes, the bone's capacity to produce active bone becomes less.
Okay.
Once there is less estrogen, the osteoblastic activity, that means the bone formation activity, becomes poor.
Okay.
Osteoclastic, that means bone depletion activity increases, and the bones become brittle, what is called as osteoporosis. So all the more reason to understand that once your menopausal and the estrogen levels are low, you have to take care of the bone health.
Okay. Now, next one, as you mentioned already about this, hot flashes हर women को होते ही है. Any symptoms which will be different, setting them different from the other?
So not everybody has hot flashes. That is luckily for those patients who do not get hot flashes. I've seen women go through the entire menopause without any hot flashes at all. So the whole center is not reacting to the decrease in estrogen progesterone or increase in the FSH and LH levels, which is causing the hot flashes. Lucky patient. However, when it happens to most, let's say I would say up to 60 to 70%, some have minor changes. And some have very serious problems. It can really throw the mind into a psychological turmoil.
You need to have a self-control at this time, most
Absolutely. It is. If it is very bad, we put the patient on estrogen hormone or what is called as HRT.
Okay.
That is hormone replacement therapy, which includes estrogen and a buffer of progesterone to prevent the negative effects.
So, but better
of
to consult a doctor at the earliest.
Obviously.
Yeah.
At all given points of time, once you are near a menopause, you must remember that in India and over the world, cervical cancer and breast cancer is very common. So we advocate that the lady goes to her gynecologist, gets the proper mammogram done, a pap smear done, a sonography done, and all the workup of blood works, including lipid profiles.
Okay.
So this will tell us her general health. If she is really seriously in trouble with her hot flashes and other menopausal symptoms, start a hormone replacement therapy. No harm. It's very, very good. I have seen patients recover tremendously.
Okay, very nice. Our next statement is menopause के बाद women pregnant नहीं हो सकती.
Okay, this is a complex situation. So yes, with her own eggs, no. But with donated eggs, yes. So if nowadays girls are getting married late.
Yeah.
What is happening is they are aware that they are career minded. You must have seen in high CEO levels or actors and actresses. They want to have a child at a later stage in their life because it would otherwise interfere with their career. So they do preserve their own eggs.
Okay.
They do, IVF and preserve their eggs or embryos. And once the career is over, they are 40, 45, they want to have the baby. Even if they go menopausal, they can have it. Now, if she has not done this, and her career continues into 45 and she becomes menopausal and there are no eggs available, she can still have a baby, but that would be through a donated egg and her husband's sperms.
Okay.
So it's not that they cannot become pregnant, they do. There are instances you must have seen in some countries that a lady delivered at 70 years, etc.
Correct.
Of course, now there is the ART law and the limit is 50 years.
Okay. So doctor, now we are heading towards our next segment, which is questions from the viewers. Okay, so there is a question which has come is that मुझे अचानक बहुत गर्मी लगती है और sweating होने लगती है, क्या ये menopause का sign हो सकता है?
हाँ बिल्कुल, whatever we have discussed now with the hot flashes, this is typically
as good as that. Okay, the second question is menopause के बाद मेरी sleep proper नहीं होती है और हमेशा थकान feel होती है, इसके लिए क्या natural remedies है?
हाँ, so because of the changes which are there in the brain, the pituitary gland and the FSH and LH, these hot flashes, though they are not causing heat changes, do disturb the thinking process. There is brain fog. So, it leaves the patient a little, or rather the person disturbed. Through the day, if she has gone through turmoil, she is disturbed in the night.
Yeah.
She doesn't sleep well. If she doesn't sleep well, then obviously there are issues. It's not necessary that you should go to a sleeping pill. Because that is something that may be addicting. So things like good exercise, a good diet in the night, a large glass of warm milk and a fruit in the night before going to bed. Then not using cell phone after 9 o'clock so that you're pretty much...
That's a very difficult thing to do.
I know, but then that helps a lot. Watch something which is very mild or listen to some music.
Correct.
This would give a good sleep pattern. Using magnesium nowadays, a lot of patients use magnesium, which is not addicting and it induces sound sleep. So these are some natural remedies which can be used.
Okay.
For sleep.
The next question is क्या menopause के बाद भी regular health checkups और gynac visits ज़रूरी होते हैं?
हाँ. Once a year gynac checkup has to happen. Like I told you, breast and cervical cancer, uterine cancers are very
Any
common.
specific age that you would recommend?
So I would suggest that after the age of 40, you do checkup once a year. If everything is fine, then once in 2 years. That would be the thing. A mammogram every 3 years would be ideal. So this helps the person to remain healthy.
Okay. The next question is क्या menopause के दौरान diabetes और thyroid patients को extra care की ज़रूरत होती है?
हाँ, क्योंकि डायबिटीज और thyroid patients, they are already susceptible to hormonal changes and endocrine changes. All the menopausal changes are obviously endocrine changes. So it's important that they look after their diabetes control and thyroid controls very well.
Okay. So, doctor, I think you've given us a lot of informative information. Any specific message that you would like to give to our viewers watching you?
Okay, so I'll quote an incident.
Yes.
And then that will give you an idea of how things work and how things should work. So I practice in Panji, and generally we have a lot of patients in the OPDs, but there is one person or two persons coming with a given patient as the partner or the son, daughter, anyone. When lot of patients turn up, like 10, 12 people with one patient, it's either a crisis, some patient who
Correct.
is in serious shock or in emergency, or has a cancer. Then you find that many relatives come in. So one such time, one patient was brought to us from North Karnataka. We'll call her Akka. I won't specify any
Yes.
name or location. And about 15, 20 people turned up with her. And I couldn't make out what. She was sitting quietly, looked very irritated. She was telling people something, go away, etc., etc. Ultimately, when her turn came in, she was brought inside. I was told the story that she was the pillar of the house when she was married and brought. So this was like 4, 5 joint families together, living together. When she came into the family, she was so beautiful, so lovely, so cooperative, and so nice. Not very well educated, but extremely, like, as if she has done a management course. She started handling each family.
Okay.
Her brother-in-law, her sister-in-law, their marriages, their children, their education, the household, the kitchen, and they lived beautifully. And the next, those 20 years of hers, till she turned 40, 42, everything in the house moved around Akka. Then one fine day, a person who would never fired the mother-in-law. So everybody was in a state of shock. Then she was a bit rude to her husband. She almost whacked her teenage daughter. The turmoil became so bad that within 6 months, they started cooking in their respective kitchens.
Oh.
Yeah, and they were all like, what has happened? This house was so integrated and now Akka is behaving like this. So first they thought it is some psychic problem. So they are approached psychiatrists. This happens in many houses. The psychiatrist couldn't look at her, tried to give her antidepressants, what have you, nothing changed. Then they thought, in the villages, they thought, ये तो कुछ भूत पिछाट है. So they did all those rituals which are done. Nothing seemed to be working. In 2 years' time, they were like down. Their finances were in doldrums. All types of problems were happening. Someone told them that this could be a hormonal thing. Take her to Kedar, and that is how she landed there. After taking all the history and all, I did her blood tests, everything. It looked to me like a typical menopausal change. I put her on hormones, estrogen, after doing mammograms, all possible tests. She was otherwise a very healthy lady. Within a month, she showed a lot of change.
Oh.
Being from North Karnataka, I had forgotten about the patient completely. I stepped up her hormone levels and forgot about her. One day, when the OPD opened up, there were like 100 patients inside suddenly with like some kind of a ceremony. And they were in tears and they told me, our Akka is back. So all her symptoms had gone and she had come back to her normal self.
My
So
God,
this is
but
the
this
kind
is
of
the kind of imagine the
impact.
scale of it that has affected the entire joint family. So
That's what
it definitely works a lot
people.
if you consider it, no?
Absolutely. So one has to be very careful, and they were also very supportive, and the family.
And they
also-
understood it. I'm saying that is a big thing.
Big thing. And I'm told that she's back to normal. The nephews and nieces are doing medicine, engineering, what have you. The finances have improved. Their businesses are growing again. So this is the kind of impact that you can expect.
Which is wonderful, I think, doctor. I think these small instances only help you understand this topic much more better.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what happens is that there is a certain norm in the society that it has to be in a certain way. And if it doesn't turns out to be, then you feel like, no, the person is not right. Not
Yes.
knowing what is the person going through.
No. Families have fallen apart. Divorces have happened. Separations have happened.
And we have
Children
noticed this
have-
happens mostly at that particular age itself.
Ages group. The lady can become seriously violent. In the West, it has been noticed that the violent crimes by ladies are always around the perimenopausal or perimenstrual time. These are all basically hormonal changes, and at that point of time, if there is awareness and you take appropriate action, I'm sure we will give the lady a very good life.
Definitely. Any specific message to our Goan audience watching you right now?
Well, be aware that menopause is there. Everyone goes to that. If you go back 2-3 generations in time, there was no HRT.
Yeah.
Our grandmothers and great grandmothers managed very beautifully. So doing natural things is a good idea. Using soya products produces phytoestrogen, which may help you to fight the symptoms. You don't have to go on HRT. But always remember that HRT is available and it should be taken appropriately under the guidance of a good endocrinologist and a gynecologist. That now families are becoming nuclear, so you don't have to fend for many people, but also you have to be in cooperation with your husband and children, and they have to be in cooperation with you. Express freely. Tell the partner, tell your children that this is what I'm facing and I need to fight this out so that we all have fun together. More holidays, more time together, maybe more sing and dance rather than cell phones and other media.
Definitely.
So this way, good diet. It's very advantageous if you go out together, exercise together.
Okay.
She may not be motivated to go out, but your partner is going out with you, your husband is going out with you. Okay, chalo. Yeah. Other thing I always try to tell the male counterparts is listen to your wife, listen to your partner, because listening itself is an art.
Correct.
And that's what the lady wants to do. So psychological support comes through all these mentioned ways.
Indeed, Doctor. I think you've given a lot of insights to our viewers, and I think there's a lot of message that they're going to take back from this interview. There are a lot more topics, there are a lot more conversations that we need to have with you, but as time constraints, this is one particular episode where we discussed about menopause. Maybe in future we'll invite you again where we can take up another topic, and I think one by one we will grow through and understand this much more in-depth information, which you explained in the most possible, easiest in the possible way that would help our viewers, I think.
Thank you.
And yes, thank you so much for coming here
Thank
and
you for calling me and
enlightening
have a lovely
us.
weekend. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Keep watching your favorite show, Dil Se Fit, and we'll continue to bring you such stories, such impactful information that will stay with us, and keep following Rashtra TV.